much more in common than what separates us.
Not true. Not true. I have nothing in common with people who want to terminate babies at 9 months. I have nothing in common with people who want to take children away from their parents if they don't put them on puberty blockers. I have nothing in common with someone who believes that we should be spending $70 billion on wars in Ukraine. I have nothing in common with someone who believes in taxing you on money that you haven't made yet. I have nothing in common with this woman. We are not all in this together, just like you, a rape victim, are not in it with the rapist. It's such a stupid, false platitude. If you believe it, you're dumb. Have you ever seen lying more blatant? Seriously, have you ever seen lying more blatant? Donald Trump's gonna ban abortion? Watch. She will go Project 2025. She's going to bring up Project 2025. She's a compulsive liar. She's like the kid who told me he had a scooter when we were in junior high and he was 12 and you couldn't because it wasn't even legal. His name was Calvin. He was a compulsive liar. I still remember it. He said he had a hoverboard.
Fucking Calvin.
All right, people who are Trump abortion montage if you want it.
Bring it up really quickly.
We trust women.
Bring it up really quickly. Trump abortion montage.
That's for the women who never get pregnant.
Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom as President of the United States.
And by that, she means take it away from the states. She means make it a federal government issue. And you know how the federal government would handle it? Look at Tim Walz's state. She's never been a governor. She's inconsequential when she's not on her knees. Tim Walz has the zero exceptions abortion all the way up until and including the day of birth, and they have twice the national average of late-term abortions. Tell me which party is radical.
Here's the one we have about the 3 exceptions as well. They're having the montage right now.
Here's Donald Trump with the exceptions.
Who you love openly and with pride. The freedom to breathe clean air.
I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that. But I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow you.
There you go.
Last year, Joe and I brought together Democrats and conservative Republicans.
No, you didn't.
To write the strongest border bill in decades.
$10 billion for the border, $60 billion for Ukraine. I believe it ended up with 20 and 70 billion.
Yes. And by the way, the wall would only get constructed if they had excess funds.
If you have a meatloaf that's 20% human shit, that's whatever it is, 20 to 70. Give me the ratio there. That's what? That's about 28% human shit, and the remainder is meat. Would you eat the meatloaf? That was the border bill. And by the way, not $1 for a wall.
We have so much more in common than what separates us.
Not true. Not true. I have nothing in common with people who want to terminate babies at 9 months. I have nothing in common with people who want to take children away from their parents if they don't put them on puberty blockers. I have nothing in common with someone who believes that we should be spending $70 billion on wars in Ukraine. I have nothing in common with someone who believes in taxing you on money that you haven't made yet. I have nothing in common with this woman. We are not all in this together, just like you, a rape victim, are not in it with the rapist. It's such a stupid, false platitude. If you believe it, you're dumb. I'm not calling all Democrat voters dumb. If you believe that line, you are dumb. You've never heard me say this on air. Everything that she just said was a lie. Straight from the pit of hell. When I say that, and I mean a goddamned lie. And I don't mean that using the Lord's name in vain. I mean, I hope that God damns every single policy proposal, every single suggestion, every single anti-God, anti-human, you were created in the image of God, idea, policy that was even mentioned there. I hope that an unholy firestorm is brought upon their head like heaping coals so that they regret ever toying with the Lord Almighty with what they've just done here. That was lying. This is a woman who has not seen an interview or a press conference in 32 days. And the moment that she had the opportunity to talk to you, she decided to lie to you about everything. That is certainly not democracy and absolutely not a constitutional republic, to be clear. That was take Barack Obama, take Joe Biden, take John Kerry, take Al Gore, roll it all up. and combine it with someone incompetent, that the only tool at her disposal is to lie. And so that's what you're left with. That's what you're left with. And then are you mad? If you're mad, comment, hit a like wherever. If you're on Rumble, smash the Rumble button. If you're mad, you should be. And by the way, don't be told it's toxic masculinity. If you're a man right now and you're not mad as the head of your household, you're not a man. You're no man who should lead a family. This is someone who wants to lie to the American public so she can steal from you what you have created and tear under what God hath created. That's what we just saw. This is evil, evil stuff. You can share this out if you want to. All right. Let's get to a few key things here. Let's just get to her talking about people not being able to afford groceries that she's going to change, even though she's in office right now. Groceries in general, they're up at least 30%. Flour up 38.3, sugar up 30.7, butter up 35.9, eggs up 40.9, beef up 29%, chicken up 26%.
Jeez.
Show me one number that's below 20, but that's the number that they officially release.
Yeah.
Let's get to foreign policy, where she says she's going to stand with our allies in NATO. And by that, she means a giant bill giving them money, even though they have no business taking it. Donald Trump, under him, it was the first time that spending went to 2% for most nations. Before that, look at those numbers. A lot of people were spending, we don't have the before numbers, they were spending point something percent.
Only 4 nations met the 2%.
Only 4 nations met.
Yep.
4 out of 10. When she talks about Iran, she talks about what we're going to do with terrorism. The Biden administration unlocked $6 billion in funding with Iran, the largest funder of terrorism across the globe. And by the way, Iranian officials said that Donald Trump's sanctions cost them about $1 trillion plus. You may not know this, but as opposed to unfreezing $6 billion, as opposed to sending tens of billions of dollars to foreign nations to fight wars, what happened with Donald Trump were the Abraham Accords, the first peace accords that were signed in the Middle East in our lifetime. Just to be clear. Insulin, that's one that she brings up, talking about the price of insulin. This is just a lie because they want to take credit for something that Donald Trump did. Don't go back to the past, which we copied. Donald Trump announced in May 2020 a $35 insulin copay. And then Biden in 2021, February, decided to rescind that insulin policy. And then he announced in 2023, 2 years later, a $35 insulin policy pressuring 4 main insulin manufacturers. So he undid what Donald Trump did and then said, you know what, I'm going to redo it and claim credit for it. Income, when you talk about income of the middle class, you're talking about salaries that went up about $4,000 under Donald Trump's presidency, and salaries that went down an average of $4,200 under Biden-Harris's presidency. When you're talking about the border, by the way, you're talking about 300,000 unaccompanied minors in the United States in 2021, when she talks about fighting sex offenders, when she talks about fighting criminality, when she talks about us all being in this together, when she talks about, hey, everyone deserves to be safe. You've seen the skyrocketing crime rates. Have you seen that? The skyrocketing crime rates across the United States. We've given you those numbers. I'm sure we can bring them up again from Mission Control. They've gotten worse, and they've gotten so bad that they decided to no longer report it. When she talks about divisiveness, Donald Trump was shot because you guys called him Hitler. Let's be really clear about that. You want to talk about extremism? You want to increase the corporate tax rate to the highest in the industrialized world. You want to increase the capital gains rate, which, by the way, would affect every American with a retirement portfolio, to, I believe, 44.6% and unrealized capital gains. Donald Trump wants to decrease the corporate tax rate from 21% to 20%. When she says we're all in this together, Tim Walz is governor of the state that enacted abortions with 0 exceptions, meaning all the way up until the day that you actually gave birth. If you gave birth at 1 p.m., you could have aborted that baby in Minnesota at 12 p.m. Over 500 people last year did. 10 to 15,000 people per year do it.
By the way, Donald Trump is reacting live on Fox News audio. If you want to go to that, it's up to you completely.
We can go live to Fox News. Let's go see Donald Trump's reaction. I have more fact-checking to do, but we can go back to it.
Yeah, by the way, 44.6 is capital gains tax, unrealized is 25%.
Yep, 44.6 and 25.
Nations, there were a handful that were paying their 2%. Donald Trump was the first one to get 10 nations to pay minimum of 2%.
Yep. Bring up Donald Trump on Fox News. Let's hear what he has to say.
By the way, also murder in 2019 is, I don't know what the number is, but now it's up 28.7 over 2019. Assault up 9.5% over 2019. So all
and that's with reporting.
Crime going down. Yes, exactly. That's without, places like New York and other people reporting.
We got Trump.
There is not one area. Look, let me be really clear. The economy, crime, the border, sex trafficking, the middle class, manufacturing, freedom, education. There is not one area, mortgages, that are better off under a Harris-Biden administration than Donald Trump. Not one. You can maybe dislike that Donald Trump did it through actually enacting policies that enable more freedom. Fine. Be that as it may. You cannot argue with the results, the numbers, the data. It's irrefutable. Everything she just said was a lie, and she knows it. You've heard me on the show say, do not attribute to malice what you can attribute to ignorance. This is malice. We are living in a time of malice. That's a steal. They want to. If you vote for Kamala Harris because you believe that she brought down grocery prices, your vote was stolen. If you vote for Kamala Harris because you believe that she's actually going to get NATO to pay their fair share, your vote was stolen. If you vote for Kamala Harris because you believe that she's going to actually put sanctions on Iran, the world's biggest funder of terrorism, your vote was stolen. If you vote for Kamala Harris because you think she's going to unify this country, your vote was stolen. Why? Because you were lied to in order to get your vote. That's a steal. Think about it. If someone tells you, I'm selling you this car, and you buy it, and it is not the car that you were sold, that's theft. That's exactly what they're doing. That's why we've gone 32 days without a press conference or answering a legitimate question. A few more fact checks.
Mortgage under Biden increased 83%. The current rate, 6.46. When Trump left office, 2.6. What does that mean to you? $420,000 house today, if you're lucky enough to be able to find one. $2,800 monthly payment versus $1,692 under Trump. That is life-changing.
Yes.
You cannot afford a house at that kind of rate.
Now add on top of that,
$1,100 more.
unrealized capital gains.
On 25% of your unrealized. By the way, I have to kind of admonish me. Fox called it with 72% of the vote, but that was 12 days before. This is Arizona.
I said 6. I was exaggerating.
12 days before. Anyone else called it. It might as well have been 3. It didn't matter. 12 days go by before anybody else calls it. And they got sued. I guess 2 people got fired because of this. I don't know if they got sued. I think that just people got fired. I don't want to get admonished again. Don't admonish me. You enter the promo code.
At least this election will provide clarity. I'm not scared because Kamala Harris will win. I'm scared at the mere idea that someone like that could win. Hey, if you like this video, you should know that there are videos every day because they come from the full live show weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern. If you want more of a sample, you can click this video next to me. I don't know what it is. Could be a change of mind. Could be a debate. It could be one of my appearances on The View. Have your puke bucket.